Motor City Sports Talk. We back in the building, and let's get right into it. Then there was only two coaches. John Beilein, head coach at University of Michigan, will stay at University of Michigan. After having his final interview with Tom Gores, he said he good. He going back to University of Michigan, and I'm pretty sure it was out in L.A. he had the interview in, because that's what Udoka and that's where Dwayne Casey had their interviews with Tuesday and Wednesday respectively, and today. And I think Beilein interviewed today too. So I think Udoka interviewed today and Beilein. So I don't know what was said in that interview that made Beilein pull it back. I don't know if he was using it as leverage for a new contract for Michigan in the future. But Tom Gores ain't the brightest, guy, the brightest guy out there, man. So that probably just turned John Beilein completely off. It is not a good situation for the 65-year-old man, who they say, quote unquote, is a control freak. Excuse me. And he will have zero control over the roster here. Once you stay at a program where you control the program, pretty much you a lifer at the University of Michigan. You a cornerstone, just like Tom Izzo is at Michigan State. And be happy, man. Why do you want to come into a situation with the Pistons where it's no real future here, man? You know what I'm saying? It's nothing set in stone. They don't want to trade the core players, so you stuck with Reggie Jackson, Blake Griffin, and Andre Drummond, and you stuck with no cap space, no draft picks, no control over the roster. We don't know. They haven't named a GM yet, so you don't. I mean, unless you might know who the GM is, and they just haven't announced it yet. So I mean, what's the point? I mean, that was a messed up situation for John Beilein to go into. I don't even know why he even entertained it, even though Brad Stevens, a head coach of the Celtics and former Butler Bulldog head coach, he gave him a vote of confidence that he's a good candidate for the job. But like I said, man, it's not a fit for a 65-year-old guy, man. Trust me. You're not gonna win now with that roster. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to force a square peg in a round hole with this roster, and it's not a win now roster. So why should John Beilein settle for this roster and come and coach what? What is you coaching? You coaching an uncoachable point guard in Reggie Jackson. You got a power forward / a point power forward in Blake Griffin, who want to shoot threes and don't want to play in the paint. And you coaching Andre Drummond, who quite frankly should be trying to master post play, and he out here in the summer practicing step back threes and trying to get better defender the rim. So you got a messed up roster. So why would you mess, what you got going on at the University of Michigan to settle here? And obviously it probably came down to the money. And probably wasn't enough money for the risk to leave the Wolverines to come to the Pistons. I think ultimately that's what it was about. It was about money and what Tom Gores is willing to pay, and probably meeting Tom Gores and say this dude is a complete idiot and don't know what he's doing. This is supposed to be a youth movement, in the organization, because, when you don't have a chance in hell to win a championship probably over the next 15 to 20 years, it's so bad here. You want a youth movement. You want to try something young and innovative, not a whole bunch of old guys here. And they got Ed Stefanowski, heading this coaching search and this GM search. He's an old school type of guy. We need young and innovative to run this head coaching search. And John Beilein ain't young, and he can be innovative to the NBA, but he's not young. He ain't really in it for the long haul like a young coach is. You know what I'm saying? And the Pistons can't be quick to pull the plug on this next candidate that they pick up, or sign. They can't be quick to pull the plug. This is not the 5-star roster, 4-star roster, 3-star roster, 2-star roster, or 1-star roster. This is a half a star roster, and now the coaching search is down to 2. And that's Dwayne Casey, who's 61 years old, who looked pretty young for 61. And Udoka, who's married to Nia Long and a Greg Popovich disciple. He's a assistant coach on the San Antonio Spurs currently. And I remember Udoka now. He was all right. Remember him getting in some of those Spurs teams, early 2000s, I believe it was. So, honestly, man, to think about it, man, Udoka is the guy for me. I don't know nothing about him, but he's young. And he's innovative and he's different, and he comes from the Greg Popovich system and the coaching tree. And just give me a spin. Then if he gets hired, you got a guy from the Patriots and Matt Patricia for the Lions. You got a guy from the San Antonio Spurs and Udoka, and you got two coaches in two different sports from the dominant dynasties of their time. And I think Dwayne Casey is recyclable. I like what he brings to the table, but no more old guys. You need a young front office, maybe Tayshaun Prince, Brent Berry in the front office, and whoever this young, innovative GM they may get, who used to be a San Antonio scout, and Tarjan Langdon. He's a system GM with the Brooklyn Nets right now. And people say, oh, he part of the Brooklyn Nets that traded all the picks away. Yeah, ultimately he's assistant GM, so he ain't making the final calls. I think that was Billy King or something like that, whatever that guy's name is. I think Joe Dumars is over there as well too. They got a position in that front office. Don't quote me on that, but we need young and innovative. We need a young GM, president of basketball operations. We need a young head coach. No more of the same old school stuff. We need to get into analytics, even though I'm not a fan of that. We need to really change the culture, and it starts with, probably get rid of Tom Gores. He really believes that they can win with Blake Griffin, Drummond, and Jackson, and this roster is constructive. No, you have to tear it down. People in the comments say, oh, don't trade Drummond. Man, it's for Drummond's personal good. He's held up his career enough now, man. He need to go on to bigger and better things. He don't need to be part of another rebuild, to be honest. I mean, you don't even need a center in today's game no more. They need to build this from the ground up. They need to be totally top 3, top 5 bad next year. It's a deep draft next year as well. And they should have been bad this year and not did all these dumb shit they did this year. But at the end of the day, they trying to win. Coming back to Detroit, you got to do it the right way in the NBA. And that's to be bad, be terrible, player development, play the young guys, draft really, really good young guys, see if you get lucky in the second round and draft another really, really good young guy. And next year, do the same thing and try to keep accomplishing it until you got a nice core of young players. Then you attract those free agents. But I'm going for Udoka to get the job. We gone.